Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Stone Live here. Friday, Christmas Eve, in most parts of the planet where this particular holiday is celebrated. Uh, hopefully, a smile or some joy can cascade down from the heavens and make people feel good in spite of all of the ill and the violence and the malignant cancers that are permeating throughout the cities, throughout our homes, throughout our families, which has us really in a tailspin. Right now, today, this is going to be a small little talk and listen segment where I present to you a woman by the name of Chief Warhorse, and it's a bit of history. She's talking about the so-called Black Buffalo Soldiers, or what they call Black Jayhawkers. It's something that I just stumbled upon years ago, and I kind of keep it in my library. It has quite naturally been a catalyst for me to practice due diligence to find out other things which could be related to this particular topic. And dynamic woman, and she's going to give you just a little glimpse of maybe something that's contrary to what we were taught when we were in school about these so-called Buffalo Soldiers. Let's listen up, ladies and gentlemen.
Search and see who the Jayhawkers was when I did become an adult. To find out the Jayhawkers was people coming from the Carolinas and Virginia, okay, who were coming in to destroy us down here and run us out. Along with the Jayhawkers were black Jayhawkers, not just white. Because I asked my grandfather, and he said, no, they was all colors. Come to find out, who people call Buffalo Soldiers is who my grandfather called a black Jayhawker. Okay? Now, they would come in and gut the babies out of the Indian women's belly. They would scalp people and take the scalps back to Fort Pike, which is maybe about 10 to 12 miles from where I'm sitting right now.
Right.
And if they bring back the scalp with it and wipe out the women, they get more money for the women had than they did the men's for some reason. And if they brought back baby scalps, if they only brought a few scalps back, they could get a furlough. This is what people don't understand about Buffalo Soldiers. They wasn't even free. They were still slaves fighting for their masters. And for that 40 acres and a mule that they was promising to them. Okay? So they would go back and get furloughs or passes, as people want to call them. Or if they wipe out a whole village, they could get their freedom papers. Okay? Now, some of these same people who raided our communities were people when their masters was chasing them from St. John and St. James Parish, they would cross over to our side. Our people brought them into places to hide them. And they were the ones who could lead them back to secret hiding places to wipe the people out. Yes, that happened. And it's documented. Because the priests began to write it down and send it back to France, what was happening to our people in this village. I'm not a fan of Buffalo Soldiers. Okay? Because Buffalo Soldiers was used to kill my people. We got to stop being racist against people by the color of their skin, because if that's the case,
That's very important,
I'm
people.
serious. We blame the white folks for
That's
everything.
very important.
But we don't want to say what can happen with black folks and did to black people, okay?
Yeah. That's what
And this is going back hundreds of years.
Black on black crime been going on because that was black people came to this country killing black Indians.
Now, did you hear that, people? She said it was black people coming to this country killing the Indians. It's black people. Now, that's not to say that there weren't white people in there, but going with the historical narrative now that's coming out, the current narrative, remember, it was black people that were initially coming over here, black settlers, black colonizers, and therefore black soldiers, black militia, black mercenaries. And this is not something I'm proud of because, as I've done my research, on my surname and, my people go back to the British Isles. My people were the ones who were coming over here as colonizers and as settlers and probably even as soldiers. So this is definitely something that probably has to be healed. It's something that hasn't been resolved. Obviously, you can hear the fervor in her voice as she talks about it, as well as the pain and passion as it relates to her people who were brutalized by those black Europeans that came in here under the guise of soldiers and sometimes under the guise as being friends. Let's listen some more.
And we need to be honest.
That's okay? Right. That's right. That's right. We need to be honest.
I feel like this here. The white man could not have got into a black village to do the damage he did, like a black European to get into our village and do damage. Okay? I had aunties who married black men that was not native, and they end up selling my auntie's land to the white man. Okay? And another thing people need to realize, my family were voting in the 1700s and the 1800s because we owned land. Some of these stories, everybody trying to make this one slave story that everybody been a slave. I don't have a slave story for being out of no slavery. My people own ships. They made bricks. They shipped goods around the country. We have dockets with what they were doing. We are getting ready to raise a flag here in St. Tammany Parish that's going to say 500 and plus BC. That even the white folks here know the records go back. Now, how many people out there talking about where they come from and what they are? What state is raising your flag? What state?
Now that's so deep. Let me stop because see, you said
that's deep,
what's the name of your parish, Tammany?
That's deep, people. And we all have flags. We all have, our surnames take us back to our flags, vicariously through heraldry. So, this is something, like I said before, people that you have to be proactive about. And you heard her. She said her people were free. Her people, her tribe of people, those beautiful black people down there in New Orleans were free. And a lot of because I did have relatives that I traced back to New Orleans. In fact, my relatives in New Orleans were the Childress and the Chapmans. Had one of the biggest mansions in New Orleans in one of those parishes down there. In fact, the Confederate soldiers came down there and laid waste to my ancestors. It was a massacre. Yes, right down in New Orleans. So I know that the Chapmans were down there, and riding off what she said, the Chapmans were also shipbuilders. In fact, the Chapmans, we had our own shipyard in Deptford, England. We were building ships on record from the 12th century. So I know that we were free. So, but this is unfortunate, people. This is something that obviously has to be resolved through talks, through conversation. There needs to be a healing process between the brothers, the black brothers who look alike, but who maybe come from different clans, from different peoples, but we all emanate from the same origin, which is God. So that's just a little clip for you guys to maybe take back and do your own research. You can Google her. Her name is Chief Warhorse, and believe me, she's a beautiful person. Has sat down with dignitaries across the world, is well respected across the world. In fact, I had sent her a letter not too long ago because a book I wrote has includes some of the Choctaw tribe, and I just really was trying to reach out to her as it relates to the language. And I wanted to kind of get a beat on the language and how they spoke. But beautiful woman, and she's someone that, as you can hear, is very powerful, very passionate, and she has a lot to give in terms of information. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, have a nice holiday, a Merry Christmas to those who celebrate, Happy Hanukkah, and Happy Kwanzaa. Until next time, talk to you later.